Now that I have Lamasu, it's time to give you my siege strategies.
Shoot him, Kevin.
Hello everybody, I'm Roadblock and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. We're going to talk about Siege today. Before we jump into that, I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of insight into my clan and kind of where we're at in Siege. It may be a bit of a surprise. I mean, it's a surprise to me, if I'm honest with you guys, that we are a tier 6 Siege clan. And you can clearly see we are actually winning right now. Still 4 hours left, right? Anything can happen, but it's looking good for us right now. But I wanted to point out the fact that we are tier 6. If we look at the player power of the opposing team, did it just not load? Okay, it just didn't load. They've got pretty high player powers, right? A lot that are kind of up over 15 million. But if you look at my clan, you'll see my player power is 11 million, right? I don't have a very deep roster. My gear is limited, right? All the things that would make player power up, I don't have them. And you'll see that I have very few people, if any, I'm ignoring Cheap Vodka for right now, that are above 15. However, I do have Cheap Vodka, who has 45 million player power, and 32 million player power amongst his 2 accounts. Okay, so we kind of do utilize that to our advantage, right? It is a benefit to us. So take everything I say with a bit of a grain of salt. However, it doesn't nullify these strategies, right? If we didn't have vodka, we might be a few tiers lower, right? We might be down in gold tier, for instance, but we would be implementing the same strategy, just using my account or Bonk's account, who's 20 million player power. So, use the strategies that I'm going to give you today as they help you and your clan. Stop right there. Click the link in the description right now to get a free legendary Elenaril and 3 free amazing epics as you level up. Here are the exact steps that you need to follow. Step 1, log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Step 2, click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Step 3, launch raid and complete the tutorial. Step 4, go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Here we go. You'll find Elenaril here, as well as Uugo at level 10, Tagoar at level 20, and Rector Drath at 30. Don't forget to use the promo code Supreme6 to get yourself the awesome Supreme Galek. And if you play for 7 days, you'll get a 3rd legendary Alice. This is an amazing account start in Raid. So click on my link right now and follow the steps. Before I go any further, the first tip that I want to impose upon you guys is the fact arena auras do not work in Siege. Okay, now there may be some comments where people are like, no, they said that they do. Here's exactly what happened. When they created Siege, they said arena auras don't work there. Then they realized through a bug that the arena auras were working there. So then they said, hey, arena auras will work there until we fix the bug. They fixed the bug a while ago, guys. Arena auras do not work in Siege. End of story. Okay? I've done it once. I made a mistake. I did it once. I rushed placing a team down at the end of the night, woke up the next day, saw my defense team and was like, oh shoot, my arbiter's in the lead. That was dumb. But we run into it all the time when we're on attack. People that are on defense that are, I don't know if they're lazy or if they think that they work. I don't know what the reason is, but it's surprising that it's a pet peeve of mine when it's my opponent who keeps doing it and I take advantage of it. But I do think it's a very important message to relay to anybody doing Siege. Arena auras do not work. But I think something that confuses people sometimes is they say, well, I don't have a better aura, so I'm just going to use my arbiter aura lead. No. Like anything is better. Attack aura lead, defense aura lead, crit rate aura lead. Like it doesn't matter. You want some type of benefit from the aura. And I can't guarantee it, but I would hope that somewhere in the 4 champions that you're using for your Siege team, you can find an aura that you can apply to Siege, okay? So I want to get that out of the way right away. But I will talk grander Siege strategy second. First thing I want to do is implement for you guys the mentality you should have for your own Siege teams, okay? Now, a lot of people like to do go first teams. I think go first teams are fine, but you don't know the speed that you're going to go up against from your attacker, and they can be a little bit risky. So just keep that in mind, right? I don't know that I'm going to win any go first battles at the level that my clan is at in tier 6 against the opponents that we're up against. I went 2 for 2 in this arena, in this siege. My worst showing in siege thus far, because we are just getting higher and higher ranked, and it's going to get to a point where we just can't do enough anymore. But the second thing that I really want to talk about for you as an individual player in your clan's siege is that if you are in charge of a post, to always use a limiting factor. And what do I mean by that? Well, you can see here, no bonus there, but here there's a bonus. We're going to talk about that bonus in a second, but I want to showcase and give a small glimpse into our overall arching strategy. But you can see this is cheap vodka, right? High elves only. Look at what he was able to do, okay? And this is why I think the limiting factors are super important, because this guy's arbiter is off the board. He cannot use that arbiter anywhere else. These arbiters are off the board. This Galathier for Bog is off the board, right? They cannot use that Galathier anywhere else if they happen to have, well, they do. They have another attack, right? So those are really important events that are coming out. By the way, look here, you can see, right? They used an arbiter or a lead, right? That did not help them out at all in their favor. You being able to limit the roster coming at you is very beneficial to you. And I want to highlight somebody to really showcase that. And I just showed it. This is Brant's free-to-play challenge account. Now, I apologize if I'm spoiling anything for Brant in a future video that he may have coming up, but I have to showcase this for a Siege video. This account is less than 3 months old and won a defense in Clan Siege at tier 6, guys. Do you understand how mind-blowing that is? Why were they able to do it? They put a limiting factor on there. We don't know what this guy's roster actually looks like. And there's really no way for us to know, but apparently they don't. Apparently they rely very heavily on spirit and force affinity, because the team that they put up for Magic is a respectable-ish team. You have an Armands in there. You have Kaimar in there, right? And Korra in there. All great champions. And yet they failed to beat an account that was that young. I also want to point out, and I find this to be very important, again, this Armands, this guy, for his whatever next battle he went into, only has one more use of Armands. Same thing with Kaimar, right? So make sure that if you are in a post, use one of the limitations at your disposal so you can get a couple of wins. You may still lose in the long run, but champions come off the board, and that becomes very, very valuable overall to the whole siege. The other thing I would say is be cautious about the use of go first teams. I still think they're viable. I use them myself, but you want to make sure that you're very optimal with your speeds using a proper aura, because you have no idea what they're going to be throwing at you. Just, make sure you're playing to your strengths of your account. If you don't have a good all battles aura and you don't want to use like a crappy champion that doesn't really bring any value, but maybe has a better all battles aura, maybe consider a go second team or something a little different that you might be able to steal a couple wins on. But my teams are pretty poor performers, to be honest, with what my approach was. My best team is a Skinwalker only team, and unfortunately I did not have any Skinwalker only limitations. I think the only one that applied was post 9. I'm not going to put one of my teams in post 9 because literally you never need to take it, so it wouldn't have served us any purpose to do so. So now this part is more for clans in general, but what my recommendation would be is if you don't like your clan's approach to siege, perhaps recommend this video to them, perhaps just take the advice that I'm giving in the video and give that to your clan leader and say, hey, I would like to see these changes, right? They may not want to listen, they may disagree with my opinions, but I would like to make the argument that the proof is in the pudding. Now, granted, the strategy I'm using involves a player that is far beyond most of the skill, or not skill level, that's insulting, but most of the player power level of my clan. So we used this strategy to success before we got vodka in our clan, right? We were able to find success by utilizing this strategy. We just, sometimes it would fail because we would play teams that were maybe a little better than us. So the strategy is pretty simple, is that you want to lock down the choke points. The normal approach, and this is our approach and the approach of other teams that we've fought, the normal approach is to go through post 15. That is almost everybody's initial attack route, right? It's the fastest route to the stronghold. Why do you want to get to the stronghold faster? What does that matter? You want to get to the stronghold faster because it's going to require fewer battles from you, which means more battles to spread out for points after you take the stronghold. Very few battles have we fought where they were unable to take our stronghold. And I'll talk about our offensive strategy in a second, but defensively, holding these choke points with your best and strongest players on your roster is generally the most beneficial for you because they have to throw themselves against a brick wall. And you can see here, that's exactly what happened. They tried and tried and tried, and they could not. So what we can do is we can go to rankings. We can say by defense victories. Yeah, you can see Vodka got 10. I'm sorry that I can't find where the other defense victories were. Oh, okay. Yeah, this one. Yeah. So this is where we had a couple more, right? And again, look at this limiting factor. Only rare. You'd think that'd be pretty easy, but no one, people don't gear their rares or really consider it as heavily, right? And so that was an awesome team. Super impressed by that one. But you can clearly see that post 15 and 14 were locked down hard, and that forced them to go around. Again, what does this mean? That means fewer battles for them to potentially take our stronghold. But it's not just the stronghold. It's also fewer battles to take mana shrines and defense towers and magic towers, which are where the other points come from after the stronghold, okay? So you want to make sure you're locking down choke points with your best players. That's our strategy. It has worked for us. I have Lamasu. We are tier 6, maybe the meta changes in the really, really high end where you've got these really crazy overpowered players. But for the rest of us, that has worked for me. A strategy that I see very often are teams that put all their best players in the garrison, in the stronghold. I do not agree with that because what we inform our clan to do, my top guys, my best players, I tell them, don't use your battles until we get to the stronghold or until the second day. But for defensively, I don't think that's the best use of resources because sure, if I had the stronghold full of all of Cheap Vodka's teams, they would probably not be able to beat him. But again, I want to give him an advantage, give him a limiting factor in which he can't be beaten, right? This is much harder for players to come up with a high elf team to beat him than it is to come up with a team, as you can see when we looked at the defense reports in here, where our best player got one shot, Taras Marishka, but that Taras Marishka team cannot be used here. You see what I'm saying? So, I personally don't like putting my best teams in the stronghold. I don't fill it up with my worst either. Kind of get a mix in there, right? You do want to have some of your better players in there. Once you have all the posts filled up, the ones that matter, don't put a really good team in post 4, right? That doesn't benefit anybody. None of the mana orbs are in use on this fight. I told my clan this from the jump. I did not expect us to win this. So I thought we were going to get kind of crushed here. All due respect to my clan. I can't beat these tier 6 teams. I went 2 for 2. So I didn't want to waste mana on what I expected to be a pretty hefty loss. And yet we managed to pull it out. So shout out to my clan. Great job. Now let's talk about attack, right? We covered defenses. Let's talk about being on attack. This is the rule that I give my clan. And I think this is very important. And I want to reiterate, it's going to vary for whatever clan and what your goals are. Do you want to win? Is your goal to win the chest, the victory chest? If so, just a quick reminder, I will read this for you. You will only receive the victory chest if you set at least one defense team or win one attack battle, excluding Mana Shrine rebattles, of course, or capture one enemy team slot during a siege, but also victory chests are awarded if your clan earns the most victory medals and destroys the enemy's stronghold. If neither of us destroyed each other's strongholds, nobody gets that victory chest. So you want to make sure that you are taking the stronghold. So my strategy on attack is that nobody uses their battles unless it's on the path to the stronghold and until the stronghold is down. Generally, I don't use my attacks until the second day. I want my mid game, maybe some of my weaker players, to push through whatever route that we deem and get into that stronghold. And you'll see here there was no bonus, right? So we were able to one-shot this defensive team by not utilizing the defense post or the post's limiting factors. We were able to go through with somebody's best team. You know, you can look at the player power, 297, right? You compare that to 500, 600, 700 player power that we have out of vodka, right? We were able to use one of our good players, but not our tippy top guys, and save them for their tippy top guys because they used that strategy. You can see now we're getting into the 500k player powers, right? And you'll notice who took that team on, right? Our best player took on their best player with that 800k. I'm assuming here, I don't know who actually is. Yeah, so you can see I got a little tilted. And we'll talk about how to use your rebattles here. But I got a little tilted here, and I used all my rebattles. I even brought my free-to-play in. I almost got them with my free-to-play for what it's worth, but we weren't able to quite get there, right? So, and then I just said, oh, hey, Vodka. I gave him all the intel I gained, right? I told him speeds. They beat this speed of mine. They had stone skin on these champions, and he went in and took his team and one-shot it, right? The last thing I want to talk about, because this kind of reiterates my flaw that I mentioned. If you're putting your best teams in the stronghold, put them out there and absorb more battles from potentially weaker players. Where here, we were able to be like, you know, I as one of the top higher players in the clan, made an attempt at it, failed, and then we call in the big guns, right? But, you know, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about is using your rebattles. One major tip that I give to my clan, and I now share with you guys, don't immediately do a rebattle. Take a breath, think about it, because you might make the same mistake that I made. So we just showed you, right? There was a team in which I wasted my best aura lead, my best speed booster, several mythicals. Now here I am trying to scrape together scraps. Then I used my best team possible on my free-to-play, and that left me with nothing but scraps. Here you can see, this is, I mean, yes, there's an Armands in this team, but this is not my best foot forward, right? And because I had nobody left, because I chose, I could easily beat this team with the ones that I had off the board. But instead, I'm trying to scrape together something simply because I was tilted, right? This was far later because my clan's rule is we don't attack anything else until the stronghold was down. So I used all my rebattles thinking I could take them. I couldn't. And then I had to wait. And then on day 2, I tried to do a simple, sorry, I keep going to the Magic Tower, a simple mana shrine. And I didn't have what was left over to beat the team in there because my best champions were used up. So you want to make sure you're watching out for stuff like that. Okay, guys? All right. We're going to call that a video. I hope that helps you. I hope that this helps your clan. I haven't seen a lot of Siege strategy videos out there. I feel like because most, no disrespect intended here, but I think a lot of content creators are in high-level clans, and they're competing against high-level clans who, if they were to have the inside information about what teams are in what towers, that could be very valuable information. So I wonder if like really high-end content creators maybe don't want to put Siege videos out there to not give away some secrets, but this is my clan, so I'm allowed to give away my secret. I get to make that decision, right? No one has to check in with me. I'm the clan leader, so I don't mind sharing my secrets. I don't mind sharing our strategies. If it helps you guys to get Lamasu even faster, if it helps you guys to enjoy Siege a little bit more, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I really like this game mode. I know that, look, I get it. I'm in the minority here. I do. I like the game mode. I'm a strategic mind. You can call me weird. I wouldn't blame you, but this is the kind of stuff that I like. I'm so proud of my clan. If we do end up getting this win, we have a couple hours left. Yeah, it was awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. I am making a push to become a larger content creator in Raid Shadow Legends. My current goal is to hit 5,000 subscribers, and every single click helps. So if you would be so kind as to click that button, I would really appreciate it. If not, I totally understand. No big deal, but I hope maybe we see you back in another video and you consider it again that time. Either way, I just want to say to everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you're doing good, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Take care.